Right.
Happy Friday, Keith.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
It has.
A little bit of a quiet week this week. I don't know. Maybe people just kind of wanted to stay indoors with all that bloody wind that we had.
That was always possible.
Yeah. Did you have anything blow around on you?
Just tree branches and stuff around the yard getting blown away.
Our trees did pretty good this time. Had a little bit of bark, but the front porch did not fare well. The carpet was in front of the door. The little love seat that we have was upside down, and pictures and all that kind of stuff everywhere. But we live in Nebraska. How did you fare, Jennifer?
I lost a metal gazebo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Completely destroyed.
Oh, it like wound it right up, did it?
Yeah.
But I guess the cop shop didn't do too good either.
Yeah.
A little bit of or the city offices, to give it more official title. That place that charges us for brown water. Have you had that this week?
I have not had it.
This morning, mine was like really brown. Man. Part of living in McCook, I guess.
That's right.
I haven't had that issue since
Oh, you haven't had it?
since we replaced our line.
Yeah, and it might be that like there were people up the street that had new water lines put in. I don't know. They just need to go in and replace them all, I think, one street by street. But that's just me thinking, rather than having 1,000 holes in the street.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to get off that soapbox, but if you feel the same way, feel free to put some comments down below.
Yes.
And we'd love to hear from you, either way. We want to hear your feedback if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover, some burning question that you'd like answered. If you just want to heckle, we'd love to hear from you. Put some comments down below, and we'll get to you. Jennifer's watching the boards over there, so if she sees your comments, she'll let us know and read them out to us, right, Jen?
Yep.
All right. So, Keith, what do we have going on in the show this week?
Well, like you said, this week we weren't too busy on the support side, so we did a lot of filming.
Yep.
A lot of filming for our new YouTube channel.
Yes. And some of it went better than others, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we're going to talk about hard disk reliability, maybe a little bit about solid state versus the old spinners. We don't see too many of those anymore, but there are some out there, and there is a place for those too. And we'll talk about that. And then, thank God, tax season is coming to an end. We support a lot of accountants, and we love them dearly, but they're so stressed out. They need a rest. And I've been thinking, Keith, that I've sent in the past gifts after tax time. What do you think of like lavender bath bombs, so they can just go and just sit and relax and get some zen, maybe? I think that'd be a good idea. Be a little unique. Typically, we send them chocolate. If you're one of our accounts, and you just like pick which one you want, because you're going to get something. I don't know what, but you tell us what you prefer, and we'll get you what you want. But we're excited about that being all done for them. It is a lot of stress, but we'll get into that. And maybe do a little bit of a post-mortem almost. Yeah, because Monday will be end of tax season anyways.
Yep.
And then you've been studying really hard, like when, we have not a lot going on for support calls. You've been really studying. What have you been studying, Keith?
Well, it's some security stuff that we'll talk about in the show. But
All right.
yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. And it changes all the time. So it's never, if you want a job that you're never really bored, this is one of them, because it changes all the time. But I guess we're just going to kind of do our little 15 seconds of fame for our The Residential Protection Plan by Honorbound IT is the best support and service for home computer users. You get top-notch antivirus, backup, and remote support. Plus, if you need in-store service, it's free. Visit us at 109 Norris Avenue, McCook, or call 877-686-6642. Your digital peace of mind starts here. Jennifer's finger was on fire, so she had to put it out on a button. Pushed the button a little too fast. How cool is that? But we can laugh about it, because honestly, Keith and I have been working really hard this week on getting some filming done, and got a new YouTube channel that's going to be geared to what I call the 99%. 99% of business in the United States, which make the economy go around, are small businesses, mom and pop, family-owned kind of deals. And I've got this gripe that, big government or media vendors, they just kind of like to pay attention to the really large corporations and, seem to discount us mom and pops. But we're the ones that actually pay their salaries. So wanting to put something together for that, and then there'd be some business topics on it. And but then we filmed a lot of little cybersecurity shorts this week, right?
We did. Tried to.
Yes. Well, and it is trial and error because honestly we're not like professional film people. We are getting better every day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we had a little bit of a struggle. We filmed 16 shorts, and they're little 1 to 4 minute cybersecurity shorts, so that you can get a little bit of a nugget of how not to fall for something kind of deal that we want to post. We'll post some of them on Facebook as well as on our YouTube channel, and then we tried to do the trailer for the channel. And I got this nice new computer with an i9, which is like a really hefty machine, 32 gigs of RAM, solid state drive, should be able to take about anything that we throw at it. And we cannot figure out how to make it not stutter, where it's and it doesn't do it all the time, which is kind of one of the really hardest kind of, if you've got a problem, like me, even with a car, right? If you have somebody that you brought a car to the shop and perhaps at some point in time and it won't do it for the mechanic, yeah. Or it doesn't do it all the time. So how do you troubleshoot that? So we've been kind of duking that out and trying just about everything, and we filmed 4 more today. We had to scrap the 16 that we did at the beginning of the week because there was like it would just stutter. I don't know how to really explain it in words. It's a terrible thing, but it's unusable film, and so we just filmed more and filmed multiple times. And because it didn't do it all the time. And we got through 4 today. And then when Keith tried to do the 5th one, it was like, time to give it up. So the guy from Lenovo called me today and he made a few tweaks. And so I'll try that and we'll call you on Monday. So Monday morning we'll do a little more and see if some of the little tweaks that he did might change what's going on, but I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah, you bought this nice computer for doing video, and the only thing it can't do is video.
Yeah. It's like, come on. Well, it can do it, but it just is not it's not as reliable as I would like. Mm-hmm. And we'll figure it out. We always do. Sometimes it takes a while. And then, Jennifer, I had sent you some stuff for editing. And what was wrong with it, Jennifer?
Well,
You found the button.
I do. Well, you know the Japanese shows that shows your mouth moving, and
Oh, the Kung Fu movies, yeah.
that's what was going on with the video.
Yeah, it was one of those things where the words were not syncing up with the audio.
Yep.
And so I remembered an old lesson from last year. Note to self, make sure that your frame rate is right. And the frame rate, what that is how many pictures your camera takes per second. And we had a mismatch. What was it? 24 versus 30 frames per second. You know, however many pictures that it shows, you know, per second. And so the software was off, you know, so we fixed that one. But still the stuttering, man, that's annoying. But we're really looking forward to, you know, doing some of those, a little smattering of the stuff that we know, the IT stuff that we know. But we want to bring up business topics. And if you're a business person, small business person that's had some success and you'd like to share some ideas with others that you think might be helpful, you know, let us know, because, you know, we'd certainly be interested in hearing your ideas. Trying to build like a community, so to speak, is and it's kind of small, and it may be successful and might not, but we're going to do it anyways, because we really love doing film. We might not be the best at it, but we do love doing film. And I'm sure, Jennifer, in your life, did you ever expect that you would ever edit video before
No,
you came to work here?
I did not.
But you kind of enjoy it, don't you?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, she's the queen of B-roll, by the way. She knows how to find B-roll. Sometimes you have to tone her down, but she knows how to get B-roll, or, you know, and then there's just so much that goes on, isn't there, Keith? You know, what are some of the challenges that you think that I'm not really talking about that we've run into?
With filming?
Yeah.
Yes, lighting, sound, you know, all the stuff that you talked about. You know, your camera on your laptop is great. Your camera that you have, that we do for all of our recording, is great. But there's outside forces, right?
Oh, yeah.
With the lights, the audio, you know, the voice didn't sync up because the camera setting was off, or, you know, there's just so many things to troubleshoot. And, you know, there's all these guys that have other problems out there, and they share them with us. So that's how we find some of the answers.
How do we solve our problems? YouTube.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, just because you got a really nice camera doesn't mean you know how to use it. Yeah. It is not going to solve your problems, you know.
That's exactly right.
Like, and you know, how many different microphones did we try, even just for live streams alone, you know, and then found out that like the first mics that we bought were the best ones to use. Is like, man, some expensive lessons, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And we really appreciate that you guys join us for our shows, you know, because we do it for you. And, you know, we want to make you part of it. So feel free to, you know, follow us. And if you got suggestions and you want to see us do something better, you know, it's like, maybe you need to work on this, you know. Keith always has this thing that he says that I absolutely love, and it's like 1% better every time. You know, like compared to what we were back when we first started doing this, I mean, we're miles ahead of that. Mm-hmm. We started out with a phone.
Yep.
With Tanner's phone, if I remember correctly. And then moved to cameras, and thanks to the MEDC, we got a grant and we were able to buy some cameras. Then the bug bit me and I spent way too much money on a studio and equipment that I didn't know how to use. But yeah. So new channel coming soon. We will be making sure that everybody knows about it when it's ready. But I want to make sure that we have all these little shorts ready before we start, you know, really promoting it. a lot of the stuff that we do, we're going to be rehashing from blog articles that we've written. You wrote some blog articles. That's where a lot of our shorts came from. And then we had a lot of blog articles that have been written. If you haven't been to honorboundit.com, and then like upper right, it'll say tech tips. About every other day, roughly, every 2-3 days, there's another article that goes up that, be something that'll be actually useful that you'll be able to either use in your business, in your personal life, whatever, to either keep you cyber safe or show you a tip on how to do something a little bit better than you might have done before. So feel free to hit our website up. But for those of you who do not like to read, like me, Keith, you're a reader. You like reading.
Stuff on the internet, magazines and just random articles, books.
But you're not a fiction reader, right? Or are you?
I like fiction reading, yeah.
You do?
I like books about wizards and...
Yeah, but you're not like a big reader.
Not a big reader.
Yep. I'm one of those that if I'm going to read something, it's because I want to know how to do something. But if you're not one of those people that likes to read, we're going to be turning those into videos. We'll also post those too. So give me YouTube, Facebook, and our new channel. So exciting stuff. Moving on to hard disk and hard disk reliability. We know that nothing good lasts forever, right?
That's right.
So, we want to talk a little bit about hard disk reliability and performance. And lately we've gotten a lot of old machines in. We had a really old Mac come in. And typically we don't work on Macs, but this person was needing pictures for a graduation thing. And 2014 Mac, better than a doornail. Well, I mean, it would light up, but, it wasn't going to boot worth a darn. So these things are typically hard to take apart and put back together again. Little did I know that the face of it was magnetic, so as long as I could get my little sliver thing, I could pull it off and release the magnet. And I was able to get in and get the hard disk out and then use our tools. And because we use a Mac for video editing, I plugged it into the Mac and was able to get our data. But it doesn't always work that way, does it, Keith?
Not always. Hard drives are made by people, so they fail.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Unfortunately, it happens. Almost every computer eventually has an end of life. And so when that happens, hopefully it's not the hard drive. But if it is the hard drive that something starts to happen where it's corrupted or it doesn't boot right, you can actually bring it to us, and we have a station set up where we can recover data when it's possible. Now, if the hard drive is too far gone, there's advanced services that involve a clean room, and you're looking at 4 figures for data recovery for that, which is something we can't offer because we're not equipped to do that. But a lot of times when people bring in a computer that it's crashed or it's old and they need data backed up, we're pretty successful at getting the data back off of the hard drive, uploading it to an external hard drive or a new computer, so you're not losing any of your data.
Yep, and that's a good deal. We really hate data loss. So, one way to prevent that is to make sure that you're backing up. But the other thing that you can consider is, like, if your machine is really old and, maybe 5 plus, would you say is when you start seeing more and more of those rotational hard disks where it's like there's moving parts in it kind of deal. And mechanical is going to have a lot quicker fail rate than the new solid state drives. So there's 2 advantages to having a solid state drive. One is it's quicker because the little needle on the record, for lack of a better term, doesn't have to seek for the information physically. It's electronic, so it moves at the speed of whatever electricity that's running through the device to get at the data that you want. But it's also more reliable because your mechanical parts aren't going to fail. And essentially, if you want to compare like a rotational drive, like the old traditional hard disk, to the new solid state drives, the solid state drives are literally 5 times more reliable than the old rotational drives. Now, what you're going to find is that theoretically, a rotational drive has a 300,000 hour mean time between failure. That means like I first start using it, 300,000 hours. With a solid state drive, it's 1.5 million hours, but that's theoretical. But you got to understand that there's all kinds of pieces, parts, and things that are around making that drive work. So it's not in a solid state drive, it's chips called NAND chips, NAND, that store your data. They have so many read-write sequences that you can do. But there's all the circuitry that's around it that makes those NAND chips work. The same thing with the hard drive, the platen, the actual like spinning part. It's really shiny. And if you're curious and you want to see one, we've got a couple of them cracked open. They're kind of interesting to look at. That platen has 300,000 hours of mean time between failure, but that doesn't mean that all the mechanical parts aren't going to fail. So typically what we recommend is if you have a drive that has a rotational physical component to it, 3 years is really when you should start thinking on doing something different. With solid state, you're talking about 5 years. So that's really our recommendation. But in beyond that, just because the mean time between failure, that's like an average, doesn't mean that it's going to last that long. And so your best bet is to have a backup, and that's the 3-2-1, right? Keith, you want to explain the 3-2-1?
3-2-1 backup. You get 3 copies of that data. You make sure it's in 2 different places, and hopefully one of those places is a cloud storage. 3-2-1.
Yep, absolutely. And there are people that argue that'll be that that's not enough, but for most people, I mean,
That's a minimum.
It's a minimum, but you can go crazy if you want. I guess it depends on how much your data is worth. If your data is worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're going to want to invest some money into making sure that it's backed up somewhere else. Yeah. So, Keith, I am tired of tax season. How about you?
That's a rough one. That's for sure.
So Keith, you do pretty good with. We have like one client that you do most of the updates for, and every Monday, that's on your calendar pretty much, and you get a little reminder, even though he knows that you're going to do it every Monday.
Oh yeah.
But it makes him feel confident. Ticket in. It's been documented that it's done, and I think maybe that's the reason why. But, yeah. And then I am really happy that tax season is over too, almost Monday. Because I'm tired.
April 15th.
Yep. I do a little bit with a little bit of a larger client, and they're a little bit more needy. But they use a lot of stuff because they're one of the top 5 accountants in Fort Collins, and they use a lot of tools to be able to do things efficiently, quickly, and accurately for their clients. And so everything that I do is helping all their clients. And, that makes you really feel good because you're not just helping your client, you're helping your client's clients. And I think you need to, as an IT professional, you need to kind of think that way. But I'm not just helping my clients' clients, I'm helping my clients' clients. And it's like a pebble, it ripples out.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the small business, the 99%. I'm going to come back to that, us little small businesses that we contribute to the economy. We might be a small little ripple, but you know what? That ripple goes out. And in my opinion, there's way too much failure in small business in the United States. I can't remember what the exact statistics are, but I think we need to sort of flip the script a little bit and start paying attention to those that contribute to the paychecks of the larger ones. Because without us, there's none of them, right?
Exactly.
Same thing with consumers.
Got to have them.
That's right. So yeah, in all of our spare time, you've been doing some training, right?
That's right. Going back to the basics, the Microsoft security settings and things like that. And there's so many of them. And like you said, it's an ever-changing world. But they have a foundation. They have a baseline of settings that are important to have. Making sure that phishing emails are detected and prevented and quarantined, making sure that if there's an email with a malicious attachment, that it gets blocked, doesn't get to your inbox, doesn't get to where you can even click to download it. So there's a lot of settings in the Microsoft world for security, and it's insane. And so I've been looking back at some of their documentation and reading some of the basic setup things. So your antivirus, and Microsoft has what's called Microsoft Defender, and then that's kind of the basic security that you get with your Windows computers. So when you turn your computer on, the first thing that you have for security is Microsoft Defender. Now for businesses, there's advanced threat protection and Microsoft extended detection and response. And so that's kind of what I've been reading about and going back through the Microsoft admin centers and clicking through the settings and finding out where this setting is that I can add my company's phone number and email address to the Windows Security Center, and I can configure these settings to automatically update so that way your computer stays in compliance. And there's just a whole list of things that they can go through. And the Microsoft documentation is, hours long. And there's the trainings that, each training has training modules, and each one of those, maybe they're 30 minutes, maybe they're 3.5 hours, but each of those modules will go through the reasons that you need to go through these settings and how it relates to a business. Now, Microsoft makes these documentations for enterprises, so it's hard for us little guys to, validate some of these big settings that they go through, but they are important, and we break them down into what we need for our business.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where you learn something, and then a couple of weeks later they change where the settings are, and that's a little bit of frustration. But for the record, most of the stuff that is in a Microsoft 365 tenant in their world has some really good basic. Wouldn't you agree? It has some really good basic settings in there, but you're going to want to know how to tweak them. And some your company might be different than another. Well, it is because it's a different company. And you have different needs, different security needs. And, it's good that Keith spends that extra time learning and studying those that minutia, so to speak. Because if you have a question and you need something handled specifically, not just in security, but in the rest of the usability aspects, you want somebody that maybe doesn't know everything, because there's no possible way that you can know everything. I mean, we tried. Remember us cracking our head doing the Microsoft hardening keys?
Oh, yeah.
And we spent, 2-3 months? And we didn't even really feel like we've even scratched the surface.
Well, we started, and then, like you said, the next thing you know, they changed the name of their admin centers, and
then they don't update the documentation to go along with it. So what it says here, it says something different over there.
yeah. Or the worst part is when they have everything in one portal, and then they divide it into 2 different portals.
It's like,
and it's
why?
start from the beginning again. So.
Yeah, because the marketing people decided that would be a good idea. But anyways, what it is good to have is somebody that knows how to look for stuff. Because you don't need to be the smartest person in the world. You need to just know the nuances of when Microsoft or whatever vendor makes a change, this is kind of how they handle change. And the odds are that if I go down this path, I'm going to get the right answer. Or knowing or learning the new lingo, because you can search all you like. And if you use the wrong lingo, you're not going to get the answers that you want. So, yeah, it's been a lot of work. But
Yeah, and the security stuff, the big reason that I've been kind of going back through it, the work from home stuff hit really hard. And that's kind of when we started, really getting our skills tuned up.
Well, COVID forced it.
And the COVID thing, and everybody was starting to work from home. And then not only that, but people are the bring your own device model, where you can bring your personal computer and use it for work. And there has to be securities in place so that, these devices are protected and that the company's data is secure and it's controlled by the company. So if the employee quits, they keep their computer, the data stays with the company and not with that employee.
Yep, that's right. And actually, we did like a little demo with somebody yesterday. That was kind of, how did you feel about that? It was kind of cool. We're not going to have a lot of time to spend on it.
It was interesting, yeah. It's, finding the use case for it would be the challenging part, but it's nice that it's available. And like you said, the ability to access a Windows desktop with a Chromebook or an iPad is...
Yeah, that's been kind of my dream, for like people that are hard on materials, because we have some clients that are construction oriented, and you don't want to spend $1,000 or $1,200 on a device and then have it broken or what have you, where you can go and buy an iPad or a couple $100 Chromebook and get the same Windows experience with probably better performance. What was that, like 12 gigabit internet they were just showing us yesterday?
Yeah, they must have had the maximum that you could
but that was on the Microsoft side. So,
but they probably have, you probably pay for that, right?
I'm sure you do.
But it was nice because what he said, he was out in a rural area.
Yeah, in Australia,
Australia, where he didn't have high-speed internet, but the ability to connect to a cloud desktop and have super high-speed internet.
Yeah, now you have high-speed internet. Yeah.
So it was pretty neat.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, I actually bathtub thought some brown water bathtub thought. some use cases, but I'll have to think a little bit more through on that. But it's really nice because it was kind of and making really complex stuff available to any web browser. And he showed how you could do multiple screens. It was pretty cool. But yeah, we'll probably work through that. And I was kind of thinking actually a little bit further of like helping our accounting customers, perhaps, and I don't know whether this is possible, be able to help their customers by being able to access their stuff where, when they're struggling with an accounting problem, that hey, they can just bebop in to their systems, and try to help them differentiate themselves with their customers. So that was one of my bathtub thoughts that I have, but we got other stuff going on though. Other stuff that's a little bit higher priority, but and we're going to talk about that come up pretty soon. Talk about the SOS, written information security plan, all that stuff. Cool stuff. Well, what do you think, dude?
It's Friday.
Friday. Am I forgetting to talk about something? I know I mentioned something, before the show, but fell out my head.
Before the show, what was we talking about?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Filming, editing.
Yeah,
all the stuff we talked about
if
already,
it's
so.
important, we'll talk about it another time. We might not have a show next week unless you're going to do the show, because I'm going to be enjoying my 25th wedding anniversary on the bayou in Louisiana. Down on the bayou.
Sounds like fun.
Yep, looking forward to it. So what do you think it's time for cat pick of the week?
Yeah, bring it on up.
Yeah, and you need to take this one over.
Oh, that's my cat.
Yeah, it is.
What's my cat doing up there?
Well, because it was National Pet Week this week, and Mallory posted on the National Pet Week.
Oh, very nice. That's
We had a little smidge of a donation going to the Humane Society.
well, excellent. Yeah, that's my cat. Dot, I don't know what she's doing, but looking up at the person taking the picture.
Just being terminally cute.
Yeah, just laying on the floor. Cats just seem to lay and sprawl out like you buy cat towers and pillows and all this stuff for them, and then they just
Lay on their back.
lay in the middle of the floor where I'm walking and hope I don't step on her.
Now, is her belly bait?
No,
No, she doesn't. She like having her belly rubbed.
not really. No, she
Will she
doesn't
bite
like,
you?
doesn't like to be pet at all, really.
Oh, really?
No, not unless there's no food in the bowl, then she'll bother you. But
That's kind of like our Jewel. Jewel's like that. She's a don't touch me cat unless you've got treats, or she likes friggin' lettuce. She eats lettuce. She had spinach this morning, and she waits till Peggy makes her salad for lunch. And she have any weird habits?
not that I really recall. Just jumping up, if I open up the door to the basement in the morning, she'll try to run down there and see who's down there. But no, just doing cat things.
Yep. Gotta love calico cats, though. They're so pretty. Yeah. Well, I think it's time to dance our way out of here, dude.
Oh, let's get the party started then.
Yeah. Hee-hee. I can't hear the music, but I'm going to dance anyways.
You know it's playing.
We know it's playing. You can hear it, but we cannot. So what do you got going on this weekend, Keith?
Nothing.
Nothing? Absolutely nada.
Once again.
Nada. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be doing the back garden and trying to fill up our green bin to put out on the sidewalk. What about you, Jen?
We're gonna be rebuilding some pig pens
Where do you do that? You don't have pig pens at your house.
at my sister's.
Oh, I see.
That's where Brady keeps his pigs.
She's got. Oh, how many
For
pigs you
fair.
got?
I don't know how many there are right now.
Are they little ones or are they big ones or a little bit of all?
They're growing. They should be pretty big for fair.
So we'll look forward to seeing those. Does he have any calves this year? Or?
He's wanting one. He has to pick out a a calf from a mom.
Mm,
So he'll do a stalker feeder if he does a calf.
gotcha. You should ask Brady if he'd be interested in sitting in my spot next week. Do you think that'd be kind of fun?
Hard to say.
Hard to say. Yeah.
We'd have to wait till 4.
Well, then we would wait till 4. You up for it, Keith?
I don't know.
You can talk about his week.
Maybe.
Would that be all right, Jen?
He could talk about his play that he's doing.
Well, there's a good enough excuse. What do you think, buddy? Hey.
Next week is today's opening day.
Oh, gotcha. But is there going to be more shows after?
Yeah, there's one today, one tomorrow, one on Sunday, and then again next week, Friday, Saturday. and Sunday.
Now, where's that?
It is at the Yard.
Okay. Well, tell us about it.
It's swashbuckling pirates again.
Uh-huh.
Mermaid Tales.
All right. And who's putting it on?
It's the college. Through the college.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. So, yeah, if you've got time, what time is it? And what's the charge of the door?
Tonight is 7 o'clock. 7, and then 6 on the Sundays. And it's $12. And you can get tickets online.
All right. Yeah, well, if you got time, join. I'm sure that they would really enjoy you coming to watch the show.
And they want you to be drinking
Oh,
with
okay.
them.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you today, and I won't see you next week, but the show will go on next week at some point. It'll be probably a 2-camera because I got to take one of my good cameras with me.
There you go.
But Jennifer doesn't care. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.